Somebody left a comment on one of my last videos saying, talk about jealousy. And I was like, no, that's a super, super sad topic. And then I realized that the only reason why it's sad is because I faced it. So maybe my experiences can help you. Here we go. First of all, I want to say, if you're experiencing jealousy because of a friend that has hurt you or that has betrayed you, then you might want to check out my video on friendships. It's a lot of my real, honest experiences about not being invited to weddings or feeling left out when your friends go places without you. And it's just stuff that I've gone through. So if you want to know more about friendships and what I think about that, watch that video. And second of all, if your jealousy is pertaining to a friend that is in a new relationship, or if you are in a new relationship and you are having a hard time with your friends that are not in relationships, then I have other videos. One is called How to Be a Third Wheel, and the other one is How to Have a Friend or something. All of those videos are in the description box below, and you might find those helpful. So first of all, jealousy is so not good. It's so not healthy. It can rip your heart apart, and it can leave your brain into this place where you're overthinking everything and you're stressing out about stuff that isn't even necessary. I don't know what kind of jealousy you're experiencing. It could be jealousy with your friendships or jealousy with your friends who are in dating relationships, or it could just be scrolling through Instagram and you're seeing people that are in relationships, or you're seeing people that look skinnier than you are, or you're seeing people whose hair looks better than yours and you're thinking, oh, I wish I had that. No matter what kind of jealousy it is, it's not healthy. And I'm gonna try my best to talk about many different facets of jealousy without taking 17 hours to really dig deep on this topic. So if you're struggling with wanting your life to be like someone else's or wanting to have what somebody else has, first of all, you need to know that you're not supposed to covet. That is not healthy. It's I'm a Christian, so I'm going to say this phrase, it's not biblical, and it's just not at all something that you need to have in your heart or your head. Now, it's realistic, which is the sad thing, because we're human, and so we're going to do things that we're not supposed to do. We're going to make mistakes. Again, I'm a Christian, and I believe in the scripture where it says, for we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So we're going to make mistakes, and it's going to be difficult. That's how I think. I've experienced jealousy on many different levels and many different facets. And I've experienced this jealousy when it comes to, I travel for a living. So most of my friendships are long distance friendships. And it's very difficult when my friends are doing things without me and when they seem happy and that sounds really sad because I want them to be happy. I want them to have a great time. But it's difficult when you're not with them all the time and they're experiencing that happiness. And then I'm single, and I'm not at all a depressed single person, but I cannot lie and say that when one of my friends posts, oh my gosh, he proposed and I said yes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm eating 3 slices of pizza. And then with things that have nothing to do with other people as well, just as females sometimes, and guys as well, with our bodies, or with the new phone that we want, or the new car that we want, or the clothes that we wish we could have, or the house that we wish that we could live in. I remember growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and I was always very content about that. But I remember when kids started to pick on me for the fact that I only got my clothes from the thrift store. And I remember thinking, why can't I go and get brand new clothes? And when I didn't even know those kids, it didn't even matter to me. And now it's ironic because those same kids go to the thrift store to be hipsters about it. But that's the whole thing. When I was 8-year-old Jamie Grace and my mom bought me cowboy boots and a cowboy hat and a bolo tie and a Little House on the Prairie dress from the thrift store, and I wore that to church on Sunday, I felt so content because it wasn't the amount of money that my mom spent on it, and it wasn't even so much what it was, even though it was a really cool hipster outfit that I was totally ahead of the times. But it was more of that my mom bought this for me and I loved it and I cared about that outfit. Then I would go to church, and I'm already the pastor's kid, so there's already all eyes on me, and my sister and I both were dressed like these little 2016 Nashville hipsters, but this is the late 90s. We would go to church, and then kids would pick on us for what we were wearing, and I didn't even know that what I had was lame or what I had was not cool until they would pick on me for it. When I got back home, I actually loved my outfit all over again, and it was fantastic. And I'm still to this day so grateful for how my mother dressed us, because it gave me my sense of fashion, even though, don't look at this because this is just a sweater that I threw on that I stole from my sister's house last time I was visiting. This was actually in her throwaway pile, and I was like, not on my watch. So I don't know if you caught where I was going with that. When I was by myself, I didn't even realize that I had things to covet. I didn't even realize that I had things to be jealous about. When I'm not on Instagram for a few days, I don't even realize that sometimes my pictures don't look as cool as the other artists in the industry. If I don't check the radio charts, I don't even realize that I don't have a #1 single right now. If I don't Google Jamie Grace, I don't even see what the blogs or the reviewers are saying about me right now. If I'm completely by myself and just doing my own, I keep messing up my necklace, and just doing my own thing, I'm totally content, and I can just be who I am and who I was called to be and be okay with that. Now, here's the thing. We cannot hide in our rooms so that we can be content. You can't ignore the world. It may be healthy to take some time off of Instagram or to take some time off of Facebook or whatever. If those things are causing you to feel even more insecure, it might be healthy to take some time away from that. But ultimately, I think the solution to dealing with jealousy and the solution to dealing with coveting is being content. The best way to make sure that you do not covet is to make sure that you are content. I said this at the beginning of my video, and if you're not a Christian, then you might be thinking, seriously, why does she keep bringing her faith into this? But let me tell you guys this. I am very content with where I am in my life. And I'm human, so I have insecurities and I make mistakes. But I'm very content in where I am. And I cannot tell you any other way. I've learned to be content without telling you about my Jesus. People might look at me and see that I have #1 singles and a Grammy nomination, and I've won a Dove Award, and I am so blessed to live with my family in such a lovely home, and I just seem so happy and so content all the time. But deep down, you guys, like, I am human, and sometimes I'm insecure about the fact that I can't sing as high as other people, and I still have Tourette syndrome, and my family is not perfect, and I miss my friends like crazy. The only way that I'm able to be content with all of these things is Jesus, is my faith. It's by realizing that I have to put my confidence in Him. My mother said this to me ever since I was a little girl, and my whole Revolve tour, like speech, if you guys remember that tour that I did like 5 years ago, was based off of this phrase. Being yourself has nothing to do with who you are, but everything to do with whose you are. When you put your confidence in Christ, then you realize that even though you're not perfect, that you're still loved, you're still cared for. And not just loved and cared for by anybody, but by the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords. And that's where your confidence should be found. I did a similar video to this about worth and about being fearfully and wonderfully made, if you guys want to check that out. I remember a few years ago, I did a tour with a lovely lady named Mandisa and a few other women in the Christian industry who can all just hit these notes that are just like fantastic. And I remember sitting down with Mandisa one day and just like fangirling and telling her how amazing her voice was. And my fangirling quickly turned into coveting, quickly turned into jealousy, which is very unhealthy. I was no longer giving her compliments, but instead I was telling her how great she was and how awful I was. And I was just like, your voice, it's so amazing. You hit these high notes. I wish I could sing like you. I wish I could hit these notes like you. Like, how do you hold these notes for so long? I wish I could be like you, Mandisa. And she looked at me, knowing now the relationship that Mandisa and I have, it's very like kind of like a family relationship. So I feel like looking back, she probably wanted to just like slap me upside the head, which would have been totally okay because I probably needed it. And she looked at me, she goes, girl, you need to understand this. You can do something with your guitar that I don't do. You get up there, just you and your guitar, and you do your thing. Don't get so caught up in trying to do what I do that you lose sight of who you are. That's one of my favorite conversations that I've ever had with Mandisa, and it's a conversation that blessed me so much, and obviously I've carried it with me for 3 or 4 years now. When the waves are taking you under. So know that whatever it is that you are struggling with when it comes to jealousy, whatever you are jealous of, know that you have something about you that makes you so special. And it's okay that other people are great at other things. They need to be great at other things. Like, you're not gonna be great at everything. Me and my sister both sing and play guitar. We're played on a lot of the same radio stations and get booked for a lot of the same concerts. But we don't have time to be jealous of each other. We literally do not have time for it. But we do have time to celebrate each other's gifts and encourage each other where we are weak. We found out about 5 or 6 years ago that I can write a chorus, but she can write a verse. And so it's perfect because we take those things that make us strong and those things that make us weak, and we put them together and we have a beautiful day. I'm sorry, that was extremely lame. And she actually wrote the bridge to Beautiful Day, so it didn't really work. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. But the question of the week is, what are you jealous of? I'm just kidding. Do not leave that in the, don't. Take it to Jesus and take a nap. Don't put that in the comments. That's weird. Okay, but the real question of the week, I do not want to invade anyone's privacy, but I want to know if you have any experience in overcoming jealousy and how did you do it? Or if you're in the middle of that jealousy right now and you need advice or you need to pray about it, you can leave it in the comment, but I don't want anyone to feel pressured to share their personal situation or something that's going on. So if you're unable to share an experience of how you've overcome jealousy, and if you're not yet ready to talk about what you're going through right now, then why don't you leave a comment and tell us what you're good at. Share some of your strengths. And if you leave a comment of something that you're good at, you also have to leave a comment and encourage someone else in something that they're good at. Like I said, we can't hide from the world. We have to get out there and face the world. And a lot of times when we see other people, we see other things, they can trigger these crazy insecurities in our lives. But we have to learn how to, one, be content with who we are and who we were created to be. And then second of all, we have to learn how to encourage each other in who they are or in who each others are and in who each others were created to be. Hey, I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend and I hope you have an amazing week. And I miss you so much already. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Why did I wave like that? Who waves like that?